and welcome to the first chapter of grade 2, Math. Now, new grade, new chapter, exciting, right? Don't worry, guys, even if it's math, it can still be exciting. Now, we're starting with number sense and patterning. Big words, patterning. Number sense technically is a term in and of itself, but it's basically numbers and patterns. Now, what are patterns? Well, we're going to be learning that a few sections later. Now, what's our first section? Tens and ones. Now, I'm sure that sometime in grade 1, maybe kindergarten, sometime before grade 2, you learned how to count from at least 1 to 10. Now, count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10, but what is 10 also? 10 is also 10 ones. So 10 ones equals to 110. What this means is, say, I'm sure you're all familiar with tallies, or at least this is how most Western countries do tallies. Of course, some countries have different ways of doing their tallies. It's saying that this, 10 ones, is equal to this, 110. Now they are equal. Now we're going to be just writing down numbers. Count how many tens and ones. Write the number. Now I'm not sure if your country uses, well, these type of blocks, because this is a pretty common type of block in North America. Now this long block here has, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 small blocks. So since there's 10 ones, then this block is 110. We call this a 10 block. I just call it just long block. I remember when I was a kid and then we had this entire drawer or bucket full of these type of blocks. There were also the bigger blocks, but that's above 10. But there were 4 types of blocks. And I just see so many of these. There weren't actually that many unit blocks. Unit blocks are just these little ones. They mean 1. And we would fool around with them a lot, but hey. Anyhow, so how many tens are there in the first question? Well, there's 1 of these big, long 10 blocks. So let's just put 1. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the small blocks. And since each small block is equal to 1, then that's 5 ones. So 110 and 5 ones is, well, you just put the numbers together. 1, 5, 15 in all. Now, what about here? Oh, that's a lot of tens. Let's count how many tens there are. There's 1 10, 2 10, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens. 8 tens, and for the ones, 1, 2. 2 ones. So we put the numbers together side by side. 8, 2, 82 blocks. Well, actually 82 unit blocks, which means that there's 82 ones, which is also 8 tens, 2 ones. So there's 82 in all. Now what about here? We don't have the tens and ones. Oh no, let's write our own. Shall we? So tens. There's 1 10, there's 2 10, there's 3 10, there's 4 10, there's 5 10. So that's 5 tens. And units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 ones. 6 ones. Now why did I write it like this? So it's 5 tens, 6 ones, and 56 in all. You don't even have to write it like this. But make sure to make it clear that you got the answer 56 in all. Sometimes if you don't make your answers clear, the teacher won't see it and they'll mark it wrong. And you don't want that to happen because you worked so hard for that answer, right? You did the work, you know what you're doing, but the teacher doesn't think that you know what you're doing, or they're confused because they know that you're supposed to know what you're doing, but it doesn't seem like you know what you're doing because you didn't write down the answer properly. So make sure to go over how to write down the answers in the right way with your teacher. And sometimes it's good to ask. Now after that light lesson, we can move on to section number 2. But you guys can also take a break. Remember guys, you can take a break whenever you want. Go to the bathroom, eat a snack, whatever. Just take a break when you need a break. Maybe do some practice problems. Anyhow, let's go to section number 2 if you don't want to take a break. Or come back. We're on section 2. Exciting. Now, what is our lesson for section number 2? Well, we're going to learn place value to 100. Now, each digit in a number has a value. Now, what is a digit of a number? It's the numbers that make up the number. Say 73. We have the digits 7 and 3. Wow, numbers and numbers. Now, each of these numbers has a value, or it wouldn't be there. Now, place value is something that we use to determine or find out this value. Now, place value to 100 is, well, first we have ones, okay? And then what do we have after ones? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have tens. Now what's the next big number after tens? Well, it isn't 20. It's not even 30. Oh, no, it isn't 50. And it isn't 80. It's 100. So the next place value is hundreds. You don't really need to worry about this right now. We're focusing on these two. A nice fancy bracket. So, how do we determine, or how do we find out, which one is tens and which one is in the ones? Well, you see, the way that we write numbers nowadays, Arabic numerals, makes it very easy for us. You see, you have 73. Now you know that 3 is in the ones, and then you just put the 7 there. You start with the ones, always. Actually, there are some things that you learn in a few grades later, and I will be teaching you that. Don't worry. In grade 2, though, right now you start with the ones. So the digit 7 has a value of 7 tens in 73. And the digit 3 in 73, 3 ones, is, well, 3 ones. Now let's name the value of the underlined digit for the next 6 questions. We have 47. So we start with ones on the right side. For most of you, the right side is the side that you write with. Right? They rhyme. Actually, no, they sound the same. But of course, if you are a lefty, of which I know a lot of left-handed people. I know at least 3 or 4. Wow, that's a lot of left-handed people. But if you are left-handed, then the right side is the one that you don't write with. Now, you start with the right and you say ones, tens. Okay? So the underlined digit is this one. Now, which one is that? So ones, tens. It's a tens place value. So the value of the underlined digit, which is 4, is 4 tens. Or 40. And then we move on. Repeat after me. Ones, tens. Now which one is this? So 1 is underlined. But just because 1 is underlined doesn't mean it's in the ones place. So we have to check. Ones, tens. It is in the ones place. So it's 1, 1, which is just 1. Now here we have 16. The underlined digit is, well, we don't know the place value yet, but what is it? 1. Now remember, just because it's 1 doesn't mean that it's in the ones place. So, ones, tens. You always start on this side, your right-hand side. And you move towards the left when you're doing place value. So that's 1, 10, because it's in the tens place, which is equal to 10. Remember, guys, 1 10 equals to 10 ones. Now we have 99. Big number, right? Well, guess what? Fun fact. Numbers can get big forever. There is no end to how big or how small a number can get. You add another 0 and it gets bigger. Meanwhile, for small, well, you're going to learn about small numbers in grade 4 or 5. But you add a 0 and it just gets bigger. You think you've added, say, 1 bajillion zeros at the end of a 1? Oh, that's the biggest number? No, you add another 0 and it's bigger. You add another 0 and it gets bigger. This is why we have infinity. Now, 99. They're both 9s. How do we find out? Well, they're still different because one of them is 9 10s and one of them is 9 1s. And the one underlined is 1s and this one is 10s. So that's 9 1s, which is 9. 35, 1s, 10s, 3, the underlined number is in the tens digit. So that's 3 10s, which is 30. 78, well, which one's underlined? 8, so 1s, 10s. 8 is in the ones place, so that's 8 1s, which is just 8. Now, we have some problem-solving strategies for you to, how would I say? fancier way to say learn, I guess eat information, eat knowledge, ingest, consume. Big fancy words. But we're just gonna move on, or if you want to, take a break. Alright, so what's our problem solving strategy? What's the first problem solving strategy we are going to learn in grade 2? Well, it's logical reasoning. It's one of my favorites actually, because you don't really, sometimes you don't need paper. You just use that big brain of yours that I'm sure you have. So, 5 friends ate strawberries. Nikki does not like strawberries, so she only ate 2. Jack ate 4 strawberries. Monty ate 8 strawberries. Katie ate 5 strawberries, and Jenna also ate 5. Who ate the most strawberries? Well, you see, now before any of you start screaming at me that, oh, how can Nikki not like strawberries? Well, some people just don't like certain things that you like, and some people like certain things that you don't like. And that's just life. Anyhow, life lesson aside, what do I know? And what do I need to find out? It's the first step to any problem, basically. You have to read the problem, and you have to understand what it's giving you and what it wants you to find. What was given to us? Well, we have 5 friends, and Nikki ate 2 strawberries, Jack ate 4, Monty ate 8, Katie ate 5, and Jenna ate 5. What do I need to find out? Usually, what you need to find out is very near the question mark. What do I need to find out? Who ate the most strawberries? Now, if you noticed, I didn't reread the entire question for what do I know? Because sometimes there's random parts of the question that you don't really need. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a very popular math problem to say, Joey spent $5 on a hamburger. He went to the plaza right after and played tag with his friends. Very interesting thing to play in a plaza. Usually people don't do that. With his friends for 45 minutes. He went home and ate a bottle of yogurt, I guess. And then he had a very big bowl of cereal for dinner for some strange reason. You can't eat cereal for dinner. It's just that usually you eat it for breakfast. How long did he sleep? Now, I know that's a very popular joke surrounding math questions on tests, but there is something true about that joke. Sometimes what the question asks you and what they give you, there's stuff that you really don't need. And sometimes they don't give you certain things, so you can't solve the problem. Now, what do we need? We don't actually really need 5 friends. We need Nikki, ate 2, Jack, ate 4, Monty ate 8, Katie ate 5, Jenna ate 5. That's really all we need. Of course, sometimes you need to check over how many children there are. Nikki, Jack, Monty, Katie, Jenna, so that's 5. Just in case there's one missing. Then you have to say, well, I don't know because one of them is missing. Now, what's the second step of solving a question? Planning. Now, you don't need to get out a sheet of paper. You don't need to huddle in a group with your friends and plan this out. Sometimes you do, but most of the time it's just, right, I know what I need to know. How do I answer this? Well, we already have the strategy for us, logical reasoning. Okay, then we move on to solve, which basically sums up as actually do the question. Who ate the most strawberries? Well, Nikki ate 2. Jack, J.A., because those are also Jenna, ate 4. Monty ate 8, Katie ate 5, and Jenna ate 5. Okay, so logically, we know that out of 2, 4, 5, and 8, 2 is the smallest number. So they definitely did not eat the most. Nikki doesn't like strawberries. It makes sense. Now Jack ate 4. We know that 4 is smaller than 5. So Jack didn't eat the most. And Katie and Jenna both ate 5. 5 is smaller than 8, so they didn't eat the most either. 8 is the biggest number in the group. So Monty ate the most strawberries. Now the fourth step is to check over your answer. You must check over your answer because sometimes you make stupid mistakes. In fact, sometimes you don't even make a mistake, you just write it wrong. Now you may be thinking, how could you write it wrong? Well, as you grow up, you have to write a lot more things. Sometimes you spell things wrong. Sometimes it's, oh, I'm supposed to write 17, but for some weird reason, my hand decided to write 71. This has happened before. This is totally possible. So you need to see, did my answer make sense? Well, 2, 4, 5, 8. 8 is the biggest. That makes sense. Did I read everything correctly? Sometimes when you do a question, you will read it and you will miss a detail, or you will read a name wrong, or, well, you read a number wrong, or you just read everything wrong. In fact, I've seen people do a question and then write their answer on the next question. And it's like, the first question is about how many cups of yogurt somebody ate. And the second question is how many minutes they played basketball for. And the answer to that question was 14 cups of yogurt because they wrote it on the wrong place. 5 friends ate strawberries. Nikki does not like strawberries. She ate 2, so Nikki 2. Your facts are, that fact is good. Jack ate 4. Jack 4. Strawberries. Monty ate 8. M 8. Katie ate 5. K 5 strawberries. And Jenna also ate 5. Jenna 5. Who ate the most strawberries? Okay, so we answered the question right. Our facts are correct. And our answer makes sense. So we should be fine. Anyhow, that's logical reasoning for you. You don't really need to write this down, but sometimes writing it down makes things clearer. So let's move on to the next section. Or if you want, you can take a break. This section is writing numbers. Now I'm sure you know how to write some of these numbers, like 1 is not spelled with a W. 1 is spelled O-N-E. 2 is spelled, no, it's not T-O-O, it's not T-O either. Those mean different things, even though they sound the same. It's T-W-O. Don't ask me why certain things are spelled certain ways. I didn't invent English. Whoever invented English, well, they're probably not around anymore. But, well, you probably have to time travel back to ask them. And even then, they might have spelled it differently at that time. Now 3 is T-H-R-E-E. A lot of languages don't have the TH sound. 4, it's not F-O-R. It's not F-O-R-E either. It's F-O-U-R. 5, F-I-V-E. 6, S-I-X. 7, S-E-V-E-N. 8. Okay, this one's weird. E-I-G-H-T. Like who looked at the sound? Who who heard the sound 8, looked at a piece of paper and went like, I'm gonna write it like this? The answer, whoever first wrote it like this. Oh, I don't know what was on their mind at that time, but hey. Anyhow, so there's a lot more word forms, but we're just gonna move through them. 9 is N-I-N-E. 10 is T-E-N. Now what about 11? So let's sound it out. I is E. L, L, E, another E, Vin. That's usually V-E-N. 11. 12 is T, T, W, so that's W, L, E, L, because L by itself is just L. V, so V. But there's also something else. VE. Now 13 is T-H-I-R, like third, T-E-E-N. This is what you call teenage. Well, up until 18, that's adult, for some strange reason. 14 is just, well, 14. 15, F-I-F, and then teen, which is T-E-E-N. 16 is just you put 6, and then you put teen. 17, you put 7, and then you put teen. What about 18? Well, you put 8, but then you don't put teen, because then there'd be, well, 2 T's. Why would you want 2 T's? So you just put E-E-N after 8. 19, and then 20. After 20 though, you don't say, how do you even say it? 10, 11? 20 even? Anyways, you don't say it like that. How do you say it? Well, let's see. Remember counting? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and then 30. All right. So, now I guess that's just how we write it then. So that's 21. But guess what? We don't just write it 20 and then 1. There's this little dash thingy in between called a hyphen. Or you could just call it a dash. Now what about this one? 20 dash 4. 20 dash 6. And this one is 29. So that's 20 dash 9. You just spell the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 the same way that they're usually spelled. Now, what about these guys? So remember, 29 comes after 29 is 30. 30. It's spelled T-H-I-R-T-Y. And then 40. No, it is not spelled 4 and then T-Y. You take the U out. So it's F-O-R-T-Y. Why? Well, no idea. Then again, I did not invent English. 50. It's like 15, F-I-F-T-Y. 60, It's just 6 and then ty. 77 ty. 80. It's like 18. You don't want 2 t's. So it's just 8 and then y. 90 is, well, do you put the e? That's a big question that everybody always asks themselves. So, what do you think? You use the e, because otherwise it would be ninety. You might be wondering, why did I say that the e is a thing that everybody gets confused about? Well, not everybody, a lot of people. Because one of the top search items, things that is searched for on, well, that one search engine that we all use, at least most of us, is how to spell 19. Now, 100 is just, well, you have to put 1, and then HUNDRED. Yay! Now let's have some practice. Write the number and number words. All right? So, question number 1. What number is that? Well, we have 3 tens and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ones. That's 3, 9, which is 39. How do you spell 30? THIRTY dash hyphen 9. NINE. Now you have to remember how to write these. How to write your numbers. You have to remember how to write them, okay? There is no shortcut. Well, sometimes you can sound them out, but it's like just writing in general. You have to remember how to spell certain words in order to not embarrass yourself. Of course, there are some words that are hard to spell, and almost everybody gets it mixed up. Words such as necessary. Personally, I'm still very angry at that word, very mad at that word, because it took so long. And sometimes you just look at it and it feels wrong, but it's right. Anyhow, question number 2. How many tens are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tens. That's 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 ones. That's 7, 8. So that's 78. How do you spell 70? 7. TY dash 8. EIGHT. Now question number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's a big number. 9, and then 1, 2, 3. 3, 9, 3, 93. How do you spell 90, guys? NINETY. And then dash 3. THREE. 4. Question number 4. Oh, no, that's not a big number. That's not a big number at all. 1, 2. 2. 1. 2, 1. 21. 20 is spelled TWENTY dash and then 1. That's how you spell 21. Alright, now we can move on to the next section. Of course, if you want to take a break, go ahead. Alright, so section 5 is estimating numbers. Now what's an estimate? An estimate is like a guess, but smarter. It's an educated guess. Oh, That reminds me. One kid that I knew, once, I don't know whether or not they actually knew the answer to the question, but they said an answer that was close enough. So the teacher asked them, "Hey, did you estimate?" And then they looked at the teacher, and because they had no idea what they were doing, said, "I made an educated guess," complete with eyebrow wiggling. So yeah, that was fun. Anyhow, if you want to have an exact number, which is the opposite of an estimated number, an estimate is a guess. It might actually be spot on, but you still estimated to get there. Now for an exact number, you should probably count. Well, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 dots. Alright. So, after we know what 10, 20, and 50 dots look like, we can make estimates. To give a more real-life example, it's like looking at a bowl, a big bowl, let's say it's this big, and saying, I think I could put an entire bag of chips, family size bag of chips in here. But then you look at a smaller bowl and go like, maybe I could only fit half of it. Now it's not exactly half, but you think that it might fit this much chips, and that's around half. It's, well, a guess, around, approximate. All these big and fancy words to describe basically there, nearly there. Now let's just make an estimate and circle our answers. Now we have this. Does this look more like 20 dots, which I mentioned look like this, or 50 dots? Well, it looks much more cramped than the 20 there. So it definitely looks closer to 50. About 50. Now what about this one? Does it look more like 20 dots or 10 dots? First of all, it's also more cramped, and it's looking closer to 20. So it's about 20. Now, remember this. Is this about 50 or about 10? Now let me remind you, 50 looks like this entire big blob. Is the blob that big? No. So we'd say it's about 10. Here, what about here? About 50 or about 20? Well, since that's about 50 and this is about 20, which one does it look closer to? About 20. Now, how do you check your answer? Well, you count to get an exact answer and see if it's closer to 50, closer to 20, or closer to 10. Now here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Okay? Is 44 closer to 20 or closer to 50? It's closer to 50. So, we're right. What about question number 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 18. Is 18 closer to 20 or closer to 10? It's closer to 20, so we're right. What about here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is about 10, not about 50. We're still right. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's more than 20, and it's not too little more than 20, but it's definitely closer to 20 than it is to 50. So, this bunch of dots is about 20 dots. And we're right. Now, let's move on to the next section. But of course, you can take a break before that. Now that we've learned about, well, estimating them, numbers, how do we order them? Well, ordering is before, between, after. Now, usually this means, let's say, this is the number line, okay? And then we have 0, it's not perfect, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So before numbers, let's just say, let's pick the number 6. Before numbers are numbers that are to the left of 6. They are left and smaller. And then after numbers are right and bigger. All right. Now what about between? Well, we'd have something like, let's pick 1 and 3. Now between are numbers that are in between. Basically, they're numbers that are bigger than the smallest number, but smaller than the bigger number. In this case, the between number is 2. Sometimes you can have things like this, 4 and 8. The between numbers would be 5, 6, and 7, because they are bigger than 4 and smaller than 8. Okay? Now, for now, in grade 2, we're not going to be learning about stuff like that with multiple betweens. We're just going to have one between. Now we have numbers that come just before, just after, and between. All right. So just before. What's just before 61? Well, let's count. Let's start from say 55. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. So 60 came before 61, and it's just before 61, which means that there's nothing in between 60 and 61, at least nothing in grade 2. So there's 60 that comes just before 61. Now what about just after? So 13. Let's count. Let's start from 10 this time. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 comes just after 13. There's nothing in between. So that's the number that's just after 13. Now between, okay, we have 21 and 23. What's the number that comes between 21 and 23? Okay, 21, 22, 23. So it's 22. Now, question number 2, just before 82. Okay, let's count. 81, 82. Wow! So the number that comes just before 82 is 81. Now, what about just after 79? Okay, 78, 79, 80. 80 comes just after 79. There's nothing between 79 and 80. At least not in grade 2. Now, between, we have 96 and 98. What is between 96 and 98? So it's 96, 97, and 98. So 97 is between 96 and 98. It's bigger than 96, but smaller than 98. And question number 3. What comes just before 49? Let's see. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So 48 comes just before 49. Usually, you can also say that 8 comes just before 9, so 48 comes just before 49. Let's try it out with just after. So we have 34. What number is just after the number 4? 5. So 35 is just after 34. Now, let's count to make sure. 33, 34, 35. So we're right. Now between 42 and 44. Counting gives us 43. So it's 42, 43, 44. 43 is our answer. Now let's circle the correct words. 86 comes blank 85. So is 86 just after, just before, or between 85? Well, if it's between, then there has to be 2 numbers. There's only 1. So we can't have between. 6 is also bigger than 5. And 86 is bigger than 85, which means that it's not just before. So 86 comes just after 85. 52 comes blah 53. Again, there's only 1 number, so we can't put between. And since 52 is smaller than 53, it means, well, it's not just after, because then that'd be 54. Because 52, 53, 54. Oh, look, 52, 53. 52 comes just before 53. All right. Now, since we learned how to order numbers, how do we compare numbers that are further apart from each other? That's what we're going to cover in the next section. You can take a break right now if you want to. Or stay with me until the next, not until. Stay with me and learn the next section. Or you can come back. Now we have, this is how you compare numbers. Well, when you compare numbers, it's bigger than, smaller than, or equal to. Now you might be looking at these symbols, well, these shapes, and wondering, what is this? Well, first, let me teach you this. This means bigger than, this means smaller than, and I'm pretty sure we've learned already that this means equal. Why does this mean bigger than? Well, you see, imagine this as a mouth. It wants to eat the bigger cake. So, it goes to eat the bigger number. Oh, that's okay. Anyways, this is math class, not art class. So when it wants to eat the bigger number, it opens to the bigger number, which means that if the number here is being eaten, then the number here is bigger than the number here. But if the number here is being eaten, then this number here is smaller than the number here. All right? So when you compare numbers, you have to first compare the tens place. Why? Because 110 is equal to 10 ones, which means that the tens place is bigger than the ones place. And no matter how big the ones place is, if the tens place is small, it's still going to be smaller. Let's say 19. 19 has 9 in its ones place. That's big, right? But it only has 1 in its tens place, which means that it's smaller than, say, 32, because 32 has 2 in its ones place. Oh, its ones place is smaller, but it has 3 in its tens place. which means that's 30 ones, which is bigger than 10 ones. So we compare the tens place first. Say 64 and 73. So 64, 6, and 7. That's the tens place. Remember, ones, tens, ones, tens. So 6 and 7. Which one's bigger? 7. 7 is bigger. So 64 is smaller than 73. But sometimes the tens place are equal. Such as 39 and 32. Ones, tens, ones, tens. They're both 3. Oh no, what do? We move on to the ones. Ones, 9, and ones, 2. Is 9 bigger than 2? Or is 2 bigger than 9? 9 is bigger than 2. So 39 is bigger than 32. We get the mouth opening towards 39. Alright, 15 and 15. Now just reading that, you can tell that they're equal. But you look at the tens, and then, well, it's 1 and 1. And then you look at the ones, it's 5 and 5. They're equal. So 15 is equal to 15. Alright, kids. Now, there are bigger place values out there. As I've mentioned, there's 100, and then there's, technically numbers go on for infinity, forever. So you look at the biggest place value is the golden rule. But right now, we only have tens and ones. So we only really need to care about them. Tens and ones. We don't care about the others. So let's do some practice problems. Compare. 24, 42. Okay? Ones, tens. Ones, tens. Alright? 2 and 4. Which one's bigger? 4. Which means that 42 is bigger than 24 because its tens place is bigger. Alright? We're going to write the less than sign because we are reading it from left to right, which means 24 is less than 42. Now 31 and 31. 3, 3. The tens place are the same. 1, 1. The ones place are the same. They're equal. 17 and 71. 17 and 71. Again, a reversal. Okay. Ones place, tens place. Ones place, tens place. So the tens place is 1 and 7. Which one's bigger? 7 is bigger than 1. So the mouth opens towards 71 because it is bigger than 17. And, well, you always want more of your favorite food. I remember learning this way back when, and oh, it was a fun class. Anyhow, moving on. That means that 17 is less than 71. Now there's 98 and 89. Ones, tens. Ones, tens. The tens places are, well, they include 9 and 8. Is 9 bigger than 8? Yeah. So 98 is bigger than 89. The mouth opens towards 98. 56 and 52. Oh, well, would you look at that? Ones, tens, ones, tens. The tens places are equal. Now what do? Remember? Move on to the ones place. So there's 6 and 2. Which one's bigger? 6. So 56 is bigger than 52, and the mouth opens towards 56. 67 to 67. Well, okay. Ones, tens, 6, 6. 6 is equal to 6. We move on to the ones. 7 is equal to 7. So 67 is equal to 67. Alright. Now let's move on to some patterning, because it was in the chapter title. Of course, you guys can take a break if you want. Yay, we're on section 8. Patterns. You can use patterns to solve problems. Some patterns are repeating patterns, such as this one. It goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. Any guesses on what it does next? It goes up, and then it goes down. These patterns repeat. Some patterns, though, are growing patterns. Usually, these are the ones that you see in math problems in higher grades. So we have 1 over here, and then we have 1 and 2, and then we have 1, 2, and 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. What are we going to have next? Well, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. All right. Now, let's draw a picture to continue each pattern. What type of pattern is this? Is it repeating or growing? Let's check. It goes right, it goes left. It goes right, it goes left. And then it goes right, it goes left. That's a repeating pattern. So the next one is it goes right, and then it goes left. These aren't exactly good drawings, but if you can, as long as you make your drawings clear, it's pretty hard to mistake this as going anywhere else. So as long as it's not completely, I don't understand what you're trying to write or draw, usually you're fine. Drawing skills don't matter that much unless you're doing geometry, in which case you should probably buy a ruler. Anyhow, geometry is the study of shapes. We aren't there yet. Question number 2, there's 1 3, and then there's 2 3s. And then there's 3 3s. So what's the next one gonna have? Well, 1 2 3, and then what comes next? 4. 4 3s. And these are all rectangles. So this is the second 3 rectangles. This is the third 3 rectangles. And then this is the fourth. All right, question number 3. Triangle, triangle, oval. Triangle, triangle, oval. Why do I have the feeling that you could make a pretty nice chant out of this? Triangle, triangle, oval. Well, it's going triangle, triangle, oval. So that's repeating. You might have learned in grade 1 that this is a repeating unit. What's the next one? Triangle, and then the next, triangle, oval. All right, that's it for patterning. Well, actually, no, that's it for this section of patterning. Now, you might be a little bit tired from the math. I understand. You can take a break. The next section is going to be problem solving. All right, so here we can choose our own strategy. Yay! Okay, here's the thing. No matter what strategy you choose, and no, you are not allowed to choose, my strategy is to not do the problem. No. This is a math class, for goodness sakes. Anyhow, so sometimes different questions will use different strategies. But first, you always need to read the question properly, which means that you need to do step 1, understand. What do I know? What do I need to find out? Okay, let's read the question. There are 30 children in Miss Martin's class. 10 children play Foursquare. 5 children play hopscotch. The rest play tag. How many children play tag? Well, what do I know? There's 30 children in total. 10 children play Foursquare. 5 children play hopscotch. The rest play tag. how many children play tag is the question. So that's what you need to find out. Alright, how will I find how many? Since you guys have not learned subtraction yet, you have to act this out. But, well, instead of acting it out, you might just want to draw a picture, because act it out is not a good strategy. Sometimes you have to act certain things out to learn, but when you're in the middle of a test, or if you're trying to solve a problem and you have to act everything out, that's going to take a lot of things that you probably don't have. Say if you need friends to act it out and you're stuck at home, or if your friends can't come over, then, well, you might as well just draw a picture. Alright, so I'll just draw a picture, I guess. And your pictures don't need to be detailed. I'm not going to draw children. I'm just going to draw 30 dots. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Wait. Oh yeah, that's 30. We don't need more. Okay. Ignore this. Alright, so 10 children play Foursquare. So we're going to take out 10 children. No, don't actually take them out, but we're just going to cross out 10 children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 5 children play hopscotch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rest play tag. So how many children are left over? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 children left over. So 15 children play tag. 15 children play tag. Now in grade 2, it depends on your teacher. Sometimes you don't really need to write the last sentence. But as you grow older and you, well, go into higher level math, you have to write the concluding sentence, or the sentence that states your answer. Or else, well, sometimes you get marks off for that. Anyhow, check. Does your answer make sense? And did I read the question properly? Okay, so 15 is smaller than 30. That's one big thing in does your question make sense? Because if you have more children playing tag than the total amount of children, that's like saying, I have 5 strawberries and I ate 8. It doesn't work like that. So did you read the question properly? 30 children in Miss Martin's class, 10 children play Foursquare, okay, we did that. 5 children play hopscotch, okay, we did that. Rest play tag, okay, we did that. How many children play tag? It's asking for the amount of children that play tag, which is the rest. Okay. Well, we read the question properly, and your answer makes sense. When choosing the strategy, it's best to choose a strategy that will take the least amount of work and give you the right answer. Because nobody likes doing work just for the sake of doing work. Well, no, some people might, but very few people do. And it will take too much time on a test, and just too much time in life in general. So, yeah. Anyhow, we have one more section before the chapter is up. Alright, so usually a hundreds chart looks like this. There's 10 numbers in a row, and there's 10 rows. So, there's patterns on a hundreds chart, at least when you skip count. Now, we're just going to learn 3 of these patterns. By 10, skip count by 10, by 5, and by 2. Alright. Now, if we're going to be talking about patterns, let's have some more colors. Alright. Let's spin and magic some colors here. Alright, now that we've magicked some color into this pen, by 10. Alright. So when we skip count by 10, the first thing that we get is, well, 10. And then 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So when you skip down by 10, the pattern is just everything on the rightmost side of the hundreds chart. Alright, now what about by 5? Okay, time to magic some other color into here. Just wait a moment, please. Alright, so 5. What do you start with when you count by 5? Well, 5. Well, technically 0, but 0 isn't on this chart, so 5. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Alright, so there's 2 columns. One in the middle, and also the leftmost side. Okay, so what about by 2? Now, let's shake some more color into this. Alright, so when we count by 2s, we get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. You might be noticing a pattern here. Everything that ends in 2, everything that ends in 4, and everything that ends in 6, everything that ends in 8, and everything that ends in 0. Basically, all the numbers that are even. Even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Alright, so if you noticed, counting by 10 includes all the numbers that end with 0. Counting by 5 includes all the numbers that end in 5 and 0. Counting by 2 includes all the numbers that end in 2, 4, 6, 8, and 0. How nice. So, these are some patterns on the hundreds chart that you need to know for grade 2. And this is the last section of the chapter. Hooray! You guys finished chapter 1. Now, go take a break, have some water, snacks, food, and remember to do your practice problems and homework. See you chapter 2.